Coming up on this episode of Outlook TV, Montreal rendezvous with drag kings.
Gay game in Guadalajara.
Matt Ryan, the pole artist, and much, much more.
Hello, welcome to Outlook TV. I'm Emily Ann Fraser.
And my name is T. We'd like to thank the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations for the honor and privilege to film this episode of Outlook TV on their traditional unceded lands.
Outlook TV is the queer magazine news show that brings you the stories that matter the most from coast to coast. Kicking it off, we have Andre all the way in Montreal once again to rendezvous with this time the Drag Kings.
Hello everyone, salut tout le monde. The first drag culture convention in Montreal, Rendezvous de la Drague, is showcasing more than just drag queens. Let's take a look at some alternative drag.
Rendezvous de la Drague is for all kind of drag artists, not just queens. And so it's really exciting to see that there are so many kings here present today, not just kings, but alternative other forms of drags, people who identify as all kinds of things.
Especially as drag kings, to have this visibility because our art is invisibilized inside the community. And as a lesbian couple, we are invisibilized in the society. Yes, it's always great to be influenced by the arts of others because drag is so many faces, so many ways to do drag. So it's awesome to see it all here.
So Under Construction is a group of drag artists. We're a collective. We aim to give visibility to artists who are like marginalized gender and race. So our opening number was Thunderstruck. And that's just like our theme song. Then I personally did a mix that was Call Me Maybe from Carly Rae Jepsen when Nico Luby, my colleague, did the Ghostbusters theme song. And so we finished with like all the flags around us, and that was a lot of fun.
I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, Scaramouche.
They asked me to give a talk on drag kings and alternative drag because it's important to them that there's representation.
So hi everybody, my name is Kachol. I've been doing drag since 2017 and started my drag journey in Berlin, Germany at Pride. Alternative drag makes room for individuality, creative self-expression, and risk-taking. It's inclusive of gender, orientation, body types, skin colors, cultural backgrounds, physical ability, and income levels. The breakdown of the binaries has influenced drag by creating a lot more room and acceptance for gender fluidity within drag.
For me, le rendezvous de la drague is so important because it solidifies what drag is to our community and to the world. So hopefully there'll be more sessions year after year to come.
This is a big generalization because, of course, there's exceptions to this, but the kind of artists we can call alternative that we don't see as much on TV are people who are cis women like myself, trans men, non-binary people who are assigned female at birth, as other people who also might be, say, prohibited from partaking in reality TV, people with physical disabilities, neurotypical differences, even just people who are lower income because the bar of entry of doing a show like that is so expensive.
Is something I love to do. It's a performance called a lip sync story where I take some parts of famous songs and when I put them all together it creates another story, and I love to perform some fun acts with a little bit of dance, with a little bit of reveal as well.
And lastly, by creating a more unified drag community, we make a stronger, more allied community against actual threats to the LGBTQIA+ community and everything that they're facing at the moment.
So much alternative talent. Andre Tardif in Montreal for Outlook TV.
We're headed to Halifax, and I had a question. Do you like to sing? If you do, we've got a story for you from Diva Station.
Halifax Gay Man's Chorus is on the dot.
All dressed up and no place to go. I wonder what's going on. Halifax Gay Man's Chorus, once upon a December. I love choral music. Let's go!
Snow on the rich and snow on the poor. Snow on the pasture, snow on the heath.
In 2018, the Podium Conference, which is the biannual conference for Choral Canada, was held in St. John's, Newfoundland. The Vancouver Men's Chorus was in St. John's. They took us aside and said, you know, the Unison Festival is in Halifax. We really should have a queer organization men's chorus in Halifax. And we were challenged to do it. And so there was 4 or 5 of us came home and then held an introductory meeting at the Halifax Central Library. And the rest is history.
I mean, we've grown considerably just in size, but also in scope. I think in our first concerts, we maybe had 40 members on the stage. We're up to 67 active members for this concert, which will be the biggest that we've had so far.
And even during COVID, we didn't stop. We did a number of virtual events, recorded a couple of times virtually, and even recorded a mask-only concert here with no audience, which was kind of cool, and put together a Christmas show online. I wanted it to be a mainstream choir, and that's what we've done. And I think people have come expecting maybe the campiness, which we do provide. No kidding. But we also provide very serious choral music, and they're not expecting that. And they leave, a lot of them saying their favorite number was one of the choral numbers. And it's really kind of interesting because I think we're introducing choral music to a whole new audience. And I think you see them showing up at other choirs around town because they suddenly realize they really like the choral world. Highlight is opening the Unison Festival, which is the queer choral festival held for the very first time in Halifax earlier this year. And we were one of the headliners for the first night and received a huge reception from choirs from all over Canada who had never seen us before. We've grown with choreographers who have come from the choir. We've grown from lighting designers who've come from the choir. Like, it's just amazing. We ask them, what do you think of? And either they can do it or they know someone close to them who can do it. So it's a really close-knit group.
We have a very diverse group of members, all ages, and everyone is welcome. It's a on-audition community choir, so anyone who sings in the lower voice who is interested in coming and joining us is more than welcome, and we're always happy to welcome new members.
Hey, sing hey for Christmas Day, twine mistletoe and holly.
Well, as expected, the Halifax Gay Man's Chorus was exquisite. I mean, the gays just know how to do stuff. If you ever get a chance, check them out. I'm Devastation for Outlook TV.
We are going to have to take our first break of the episode.
And we'd like to acknowledge that February 10 is Lunar New Year.
Oh, is it going to be a full moon?
No, it's going to be a dragon moon. Roar.
Yes, hot and spicy.
My name is Matt Ryan, and you're watching Outlook TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV. Talk about the oldest bromance in history. Boy, do we have a story for you.
Andre's got a story for us about Len and Cub and a retrospective exhibit from 1920s.
Hello everyone, salut tout le monde. The archives presently have a new exhibit, Len and Cub, A Queer History. It is curated by Meredith J. Pat and Dusty Green. Let's meet them.
I began working on the Len and Cub story in 2019, and I was brought on as a researcher on the project. The photos were discovered and acquired through a collector in Havelock by the name of John Corey. He was an artist and a local historian.
I started this research about 6 years ago, looking into the story of Len and Cub. We're very careful in the book not to describe Len and Cub using an identifier like homosexual or gay, because the language wouldn't have really existed in their world. The Keefe family's properties, wealth, and status in town certainly, I think, is a big factor of how the boys were able to have their relationship and document it as well, where Len had access to a camera, which, not everyone in Havelock would have had a camera at the time. For all intents and purposes, they appeared to dress and act as men would have done in their community. So there was nothing really about them that would have made them stand out in that way.
There's no mistake in the photos that they had affection for each other. Then also seeing these more intimate photos of the two of them together has been really, really touching.
Certainly, we have a lot of photos of Len during his time at Tilton School, and there's never a woman with him. He's always with other young men. It seems likely or possible that Len could have, had some same-sex encounters there or experimented with some other boys at the school. To my knowledge, the only photos of a same-sex couple during the First World War serving together, Len had his camera with him and took plenty of photos during their time training, especially where Cub was there with him. There's actually a long tradition in Canadian military of men dressing in drag, including the dumbbells. We don't know exactly why Len was outed, but we do know that in the early 30s, the donor of the photos described it as he was driven out of town for being a homosexual. Cub went on to be a really prominent figure in harness racing in New Brunswick.
So we were very careful when we weren't sure about something to try and explain that to the reader that this is a possibility of what could have happened, but we don't know categorically.
The archives in Toronto actually plays a much bigger role in the story of Len and Cub. We're very lucky to have an exhibition there in November, and it was lovely and very well attended, and it was great to meet with folks who are interested in this story.
Len and Cub's story to take place in an English part of New Brunswick, but we hope that it will be translated so that they can their story can be told in French as well.
Thank you very much, Meredith and Dusty, on the inside of this must-have book. André Tardif at the Archives in Toronto for Outlook TV.
This man's poll was featured on Canada's Got Talent.
Yes, I'm very excited to find out what Mario asked from Matt Ryan.
Today I am in Oma, Montreal to meet pole artist Matt Ryan to talk about this amazing discipline that combines arts and sports. I might even try it for the first time. How did you become a pole performer?
Kind of by accident, because in 2018 I had the opportunity to do a fundraiser for mental health back in Halifax called Spinning with the Stars, where they paired somebody who was well known in the community with a pole dancer. And 3 months after that, I progressed very rapidly because I have an extensive background as a gymnast. And I decided that if I could make it as a professional pole dancer anywhere in Canada, that Montreal was the place that I could do this. So I sold all of my stuff and moved to Montreal from Halifax to chase my dream of becoming a professional pole dancer. Montreal, they really embrace the arts. They put a lot of money into the circus arts and the arts in general, so you can really make it work for yourself. I love pole so much. First of all, it makes me feel really good, and it's a kind of a mindfulness / meditation experience because you really have to be in the moment. So it does take a lot of dedication to get to a high level in pole. It doesn't feel as much like training because it's so much fun. I mean, you're spinning around on this apparatus. You're challenging yourself physically, you're making it artistic. There's a lot of emotion involved in it, especially when you're doing a public performance. You really want to make a connection with the audience.
For someone who wants to begin doing pole, any advice?
Just do it. A big misconception with people who are interested but reluctant is that they feel that they need to be physically strong going into pole in order to do it. That's not really the case, because just the simple act of trying to hang on to the pole, flex your muscles, engage everything that you need to engage to stay up on there, that inevitably leads to the muscles getting stronger. My art has actually taken me quite far. It evolved from performing in nightclubs to performing for the city of Montreal on the streets during the summer, which evolved into getting recognized by Canada's Got Talent. So I did Canada's Got Talent in 2021. I've been invited to perform at Pride festivals all over Canada. I've been to Las Vegas to teach pole, and I'm very proud that I've been able to present the form of pole that I do to a much more widespread audience.
This was Mario Langlois in Oma, Montreal for Outlook TV.
We're going to have to take a little break now.
What do you think Matt Ryan does with that pole? Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV. Albertus takes us all the way back to Guadalajara.
Yes, he helps us find out how sexual diversity helps bring the gay games to Guadalajara.
We're very fortunate to have a chance to meet with Andrés Treveño. He is the first person to be appointed to the position of Director of Sexual Diversity in Jalisco.
Guadalajara has had for the past 41 years a very organized and very active civil rights movement for LGBT rights. And through these 40 years, they've pushed the government to be more open and more inclusive. And in 1991, they got the right to organize the ILGA conference in Guadalajara. That was going to be the first time this conference was going to take place in Latin America. The local authorities, they started a hate campaign to prevent this congress from happening in the city. They started saying that bringing homosexuals from the rest of the world would promote homosexuality in the city, and it would make others sick of these. They painted walls all around the city with hate speeches. They made marches. The mayor ended up saying that he would put in jail everyone that came to this conference. There's actually this iconic front page of the Bay Area Reporter that announces that Guadalajara's mayor is making this threat. 30 years later, on 2023, we are gonna hold the Gay Games, and that project, Guadalajara Gay Games 2023, it's a project that's been supported by the local organizations, by the government, by the private initiative, and it really talks on how a city can change in just 30 years. Our first involvement was making sure we had all the conditions to be a host city. So that implies having workshops with the local police, with all the public transportation system, hotels, restaurants, bars, many other areas of the government. So yeah, for a long time we've been developing those workshops. So during the Gay Games, you will see in the different venues and on the main villa, the Villa Paraísa, you can get tested, you can get PrEP on demand, you can get PEP, and you can get all condoms, lube, everything you need. So yeah, we are kind of the ones who tied the knots of all the different work that needs to be done. And specifically through these days, we are coordinating volunteers for the whole Gay Games, and we're also helping with two very important activities, which is the Rainbow Run that's being organized by Guadalajara Pride, that is our local Pride organization, but we are the ones who've been facilitating everything for that to happen, and the memorial. So we'll have the memorial moment on Mondays at 6 p.m. and that's being organized by us as well.
Coming up next, Angus meets a very famous Monroe, but it's not the one you're thinking.
It's actually Bill Monroe, who's very well known for portraying the past queen.
Check it out.
We're at the Fountainhead Pub in Vancouver's Davie Village, where today we're going to be meeting with one of Vancouver's entertainment icons who's been entertaining us for decades. Let's go meet Mr. Bill Monroe.
I came here in 1980 and started entertaining as I had a big job, my regular daytime job. And then the sports community asked me to do a show to raise money for the very first gay games in '82. So that's how I started. We were performing for a purpose. It was either the sports community or it was either AIDS community or some charity. We were always doing it for a purpose. So the crowd was always good. I wasn't doing it for me. I just was lucky enough to be asked to be an MC. And I didn't cost them anything, so they liked that.
Had emceed some of the coronation balls in the past.
Yeah, I emceed a couple of those balls at the Commodore Ballroom, and they were very good at the time. It was great fun. Everybody was there for a purpose. There was, a couple of thousand people there.
You perform as the late Queen. How did that come about?
I was at a picnic in Winnipeg, actually, and the Queen was visiting Ford's. And I said in my Queen voice, I said, "Get their guns, Philip. Welcome to the British Empire. If anybody moves, shoot Betty in her good tit." And the crowd loved it. So I started working on it, and I wrote material, and I definitely did the Queen, which opened up many, many doors. Traveled to Australia, New Zealand, all over the United States, doing benefits and doing sports things for bowling and all the different sports organizations.
Asked by the Vancouver men's chorus to go down and perform as the Queen.
First gay games. So the chorus asked me to go and do the Queen. I came out and did my Queen routine and taught them all to wave, tiara, teeth and tits. Up the other way, it's tits, teeth, and tiara. And the whole town was waving for the rest of the time. And for that, the men's chorus made me their first honorary life member, which I've been for 40 years now.
It's marvelous that you should care for me.
I started singing live because I had a group, he had a pianist and everything, and that got so expensive. So then I got tracks, and I was very fortunate to have a great friend of mine lay down tracks for me in my key, whatever that is, and different songs. So I've always sang live, which makes me unique. I'm not a great singer, but I can put a song over, and that's the main thing.
And I turned 90 years old. Thank you.
Everybody's all upset because I'm going to be turning 90 in April, and nobody wants to believe it, neither do I. I tried to be the thinnest for years, I tried to be the prettiest for years, so I ended up being the oldest, so that's okay.
For Outlook TV, this is Angus Pratt at the Fountainhead Pub in Vancouver.
Oh boy, would you look at the time. That's all we have for this episode of Outlook TV, but we will be back.
And we'll ask you to stop checking out Matt Ryan's poll on Instagram for a second, and instead check us out on our social media platforms, and better yet, consider volunteering with us.
I'm Emily Ann Fraser.
And my name is T.
Stay fabulous, Canada.